Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of EverQuest 2. Now in this episode, we're actually still over here in the Irontoe Brigade's camp. We just talked to Verung Kae'Rush, and he sent us down to get the requisition list confirmed because you got a bunch of joker miners who wanted like chocolate shovels and things of that sort, and then brought it back up. It was a pretty quick quest, so we're going to go ahead and talk to him and see maybe what he has in store for us now. The quick quests are still really good experience. Not usually pretty good on the loot. Sometimes the loot leaves something to be desired on those really fast ones, but we'll go ahead and see. Maybe his in-line of quest has something really good for us. So,
Hail!
Did you get Warren's approval? Yes. Great. If Argo had remembered to do that in the first place, we wouldn't have had to waste our time with it. Sometimes I think recruits like him might not be worth it, but I suppose we'll need every pair of hands if we can get when the fighting starts. He'll learn in time, I'm sure. If it doesn't involve smashing kobolds, it doesn't seem to register with him somehow. Is there anything else I can do to help? Yes, actually, I've had to pull some extra workers off of their collection duties to some recent cave-ins in the mines. Our food supplies, well, it's nothing critical, but we're getting rather low. It would be a great help if you could help refill our food stores. Well, what do you need? Primarily, we've been using eggs from the highland sturges, and the meat from the crawlers just west of here. The sturge eggs can be found at the base of the tree, and the crawlers themselves often hide under the rocks. It shouldn't be too hard to scare them up by moving the rocks. Okay. So, feeding the Irontoe Brigade, level 25, at least 94 silver, 55 copper, plus 1,000 faction for the Irontoe Brigade. So it seems, at least with this guy, he's going to offer you faction points for every one of his quests so far. And the money is getting rather good too. As you see, as we get higher and higher level, we get more and more money for the quests we do. At higher levels, like level 60 and 70, you'll be earning platinum, sometimes 3, 4, 5 platinum per quest. So you can see how items going for like 1,000 platinum really aren't that big of a deal. I mean, it's at a low level, that's huge, but at a higher level, that's doable for just a soloing person without having to sell anything great to get to that kind of cash. So let's go ahead and hit accept. I realize this is not glorious, but it does not go unappreciated. I will return. So let's head on out here. Now, you do have to watch out for these flying little bat type creatures. Where are they? There's some of them out here that are attackable, like these guys, these frenzied, if I can click on one, frenzied gorgers. And they will attack you on sight, so you need to be careful when flying around those guys. There's an egg right there. So you just run up to it, collect it. And we got 1 out of 9 already. Now, if you have problems finding those eggs, just remember that they do respawn. Now, sometimes it is a very slow respawn. Here's a rock, actually, we can click on. There we go. Do I attack it, maybe? Yeah, I guess I do have to attack it. But it may be a very slow respawn, but they will respawn. So, if you come in here like most people will do, and you can collect like, I believe it's 30 or even 60 quests at one time, come into this camp, collect all the quests possible, and then come out here and start working on some of them. If you run into the problem of, oh, there's just not enough to go around because maybe you're having problems finding them, or there's just too many people harvesting them at the moment, you can just move on to another quest. There's no reason why you have to do just one quest at a time like I'm doing. I'm doing that to avoid confusion, so that you guys aren't like, oh, which quest is he working on? Where did he get that from? Stuff like that. If you're having a problem with this quest, I'm trying to make it as easy as possible for you to figure out how to do it. But for you, just collect all those quests. It makes it very user-friendly or very convenient for you to just be able to move on to another quest. And it's actually kind of cool to do that. What I would usually do is I would collect all of them, go out, and try to finish off as many of them as I could before I went back. And then when I went back to turn in, I would actually gain like 2, sometimes 3 levels just from turning in the 10 or 15 or 20 quests that I managed to finish off. So these guys are really easy. Not too hard, but you can see those guys floating around. And the rocks are just all over the place over here. So they're not going to have too big of a problem with these spiders as far as finding a food source. Now, we've only seen 1 egg. We'll have to go back and start looking for some more of the other eggs, because it may be having to wait for those things to respawn. I don't want to make you guys wait if I don't have to, so try to get an even number of both as much as I can, or maybe find another good spot where the eggs are. They said they should be around the trees, and there's plenty of trees over here. It's 2 out of 10. Oh, and there's 2 here, but you can see something is hitting me. It's one of those gorgers. And they will interrupt you, if they can, from being able to do whatever you're doing, the harvesting or whatever the case may be. So you do kind of want to kill them off first. And I do believe there's a quest in there to kill these guys, so if you had that quest, you could be doing both at the same time. Which is very nice for you, because, you know, otherwise you're just killing them for the little experience that they actually offer. Go ahead and attack these. It's nice that they're not ready to attack the moment they pop out, so you can loot the rock, or move the rock I should say, see these guys, and if you're getting attacked by something else, you know, like one of those gorgers, you can stop, attack that thing first, and then come back to this. There's another egg around the tree. Seemed pretty easy to find. Not quite sure why some trees have 2 and other trees only have 1. I guess the idea is the egg fell out of the tree, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me in that regards, because if it did, chances are it would have broke upon falling, especially on hard rock like this. I mean, this area over here looks a little sandy, so maybe here, but over there where the grass was, it's all rocky. And I don't know any bird who makes their nest on the ground at the base of a tree and then just leaves their eggs unprotected, so. And then again, this is a fantasy world, so trying to make sense out of it really doesn't apply, but it is nice to think about these things. Maybe they could have put a little bit more thought into explaining the magical entities and stuff that made this possible. Now, we've already looked at all the trees, or at the base of all the trees, and we've gotten all the eggs that are here, so we are going to have to wait for a respawn, unfortunately. But that gives us time to go over here and collect some of the rocks and get the spiders, because we still need, what is it, another 5? Yeah, we still need another 5 of those, and we only need 2 more of the eggs, so just give it a few minutes. There is no rush in completing these quests. In fact, I try to take my time in doing them simply because I enjoy them so much. It really is. All the rocks disappeared over here for some reason. Oh no, they're still further up. I mean, the graphics in this game are amazing, at least right now. Maybe in 10 years when you're watching this from 2015, that they won't be as great, but for now, they're beautiful graphics. And the storyline is really good. Gameplay is great. Game mechanics work really, really good. And the community here is great. So, I mean, there's really no downside to this game, especially since it's free to play now, for the most part, until you get to higher levels, and then you have to... Don't have to, but it becomes something you'd actually want to do, is to buy the new expansions and then pay the monthly fee so that you can go to the places you want to do, or go and use some of the special features like the broker and things of that sort. On the free-to-play one, you could buy things off of the broker, you just can't sell anything. So you can be somewhat part of the... Go ahead and attack this thing that's hurting me. You can be somewhat part of the economy, but not manipulate it. So there's none of these, or not a lot of these anyways, I should say none. But there's not a lot of these, I don't know what you would call them, like gold miners, who would sit there, and they're not playing the game for enjoyment, they're actually playing the game to make money off of it, real life money. Tempest, Fury. And that's something you could sell on the broker if you had access to it. But they do that so that it limits the number of people who will sit there and just mine gold and mine resources, and then go on the broker and sell it. And they're not paying for anything, and therefore there's a million of them doing it on different accounts, and they may be like 4-boxing it or 6-boxing it with little programs that are running them. And it really destroys the economy for the players who are actually on the game, because you just can't compete with somebody who's spending every waking hour you know, mining stuff or making stuff to sell. Because you're out there actually having a good time. You're going to new zones. You're hunting in those zones. And it kind of sucks that when you go to sell one of those items that it took you a long time to get, it was really hard to get, you find out that it's pretty worthless, or close to worthless, because there's just too many of them on the market. And so by making it, you know, chargeable at higher levels, you make the lower level content obviously, you know, sellable and tradable, to the point that that is really cheap. But the higher level stuff, the stuff that really makes it, you know, good for the in-game people, is still going to be really hard to get, and it's still going to be a decent amount of money for it as well. So now we got all the eggs we needed. And you can see, as long as, I guess, if you start this quest, you're going to want to get the eggs first, and then go back and get the spiders. That way you can take the time and let them respawn. If you get the eggs last, you're kind of just going to be sitting there doing nothing, unless you have another quest to work on. So a little bit of lag there. For a second, yeah, I do have another one on me. That's the downside to having in first person rather than third person. Can't really see what's sneaking up on you. So at later levels, when you're in guilds, guild raids and stuff like that, most people will have it this way, just so that they can make sure. But if you're having problems with your lag, or your graphics card isn't, you know, strong enough to really do all those things, as you can see, I can't click on those rocks anymore because I actually finished off the quest. So let's go ahead and turn it in. But yeah, third person will take up a little bit more of your graphics card. So if you're having problems with that, just go into first person. If you're having a really horrible time with it, lower your graphics down, or stare at a wall. That's something you can do when you're staring at a wall and there's a million things going on behind you. None of that will affect your graphics because it doesn't see it. So let's go ahead and see what it has to say. Have you collected the food? Well, yes, I have. Feeding the Irontoe Brigade. We ended up getting 1 gold, 74 silver, and 47 copper, along with the 1,000 Irontoe Brigade faction points he promised. So we'll go ahead and hit accept. Now this next part is probably going to be for the next line of quests that he has, so we're going to go ahead and wait on that till the next episode, guys. If you do like these, please hit the like button, subscribe. It definitely helps out my channel grow, makes my videos come up higher on the YouTube watch list every day, and therefore more and more people will watch, which means I can make more and more videos for you guys. So I definitely appreciate that if you guys can take just a few seconds to click on that if you enjoy these videos. Now I do videos every day. For several different video games, whether it's EverQuest 1 or EverQuest 2, Firefall, let's see, what else am I doing? I'm doing, right now, Underrail, and I'm doing videos for those every day. So if you want to subscribe to just the playlist, so that you don't get, you know, all these notices and stuff like that when you go on there to look to see what's new for all these other games, you're welcome to do that. But again, anything that you can do to help out, guys, I definitely appreciate that. And I want to thank you guys for watching.